Tesla stock is down 0.75% at the time of recording this video. But this is actually an outperformance compared to other stocks like Nvidia, down about 2.5%, Apple down about 1.5%, Microsoft down a similar amount. Why is Tesla outperforming here on the day today? Well, we have some breaking news to get into. This is very positive news, and I think you will like it. Giga Shanghai reported 82,432 wholesales. This is local sales plus exports for November. If you take a look at the chart, this is the highest since July of this year, and one of the best months that you have seen in 2023. As Sawyer Merritt says, this Reuters headline is somewhat misleading. It says Tesla China-made EV sales fall 17.8% in November, the biggest drop since December of 2022. Sawyer Merritt says Tesla now more evenly distributes exports throughout the whole quarter versus in 2022 when most exports happened in the beginning of the quarter. Data shows Tesla China sales are on track for a record this quarter. Gary Black writes on X that you should outright ignore the Reuters headline that says year-over-year China wholesale is down 17.8%, since that was prior to current Tesla practice of smoothing exports over the quarter, the same thing that Sawyer Merritt just said. This is probably the reason for Tesla's outperformance today, because this was a very strong number. Tesla stock is not exactly priced for good things in 2024. So a strong number like this is surely going to be a positive anytime we get one for Tesla stock. Gary Black on X shares this video. He says consumer interest in Cybertruck is insane, while Tesla bears keep insisting there will be no demand. Literally people crowding around this thing, taking pictures. I'm sure a lot of these individuals don't own a Tesla. They're just like, what the heck is this vehicle? I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, look at them. There's a lot of interest in the Cybertruck at the very least. According to Canaccord Genuity, 1/3 of their survey respondents said they would buy a Cybertruck. They said it's a higher positivity rate than they expected. This survey had the strongest response of any to date. This was a random survey to random people. So 1/3 of all people saying they would buy a Cybertruck is very high. This is not just the reservation holders of the Cybertruck themselves. Canaccord Genuity did reiterate their buy rating and their $267 price target. Sawyer Merritt wrote this poll that says, do you plan on converting your Cybertruck reservation into an actual order at current prices? 34.5% say yes, 15.2% say no, 13.7% say not sure, and 36.7% say they do not have a reservation. Tesla just sent this email to reservation holders of the Cybertruck that says, quote, gear inspired by Cybertruck's stainless steel exoskeleton, apparel designed for out of this world comfort, only available in the Tesla shop. And here's a link to visit the shop. Tesla has expanded their rollout of V4 superchargers to Australia. Detroit has installed the first wireless charging public roadway in the US. It stretches a 1/4 mile. It only activates when a car with a receiver passes over the coils. Testing will begin in 2024 with a Ford E-Transit electric commercial van. Tesla and Boeing sign on to a new AI Gore-backed database showing supplier emissions to build low-emission supply chains, a truthful stock take. Coral Gables Police Department is officially going electric by purchasing a Tesla Model Y for patrolling. Here's a comparison of the Ford F-150 Raptor R and the Cyber Beast. And I'll point out the Cyber Beast is about $11,000 cheaper. And basically every single spec there is better for the Cybertruck than for the the Ford F-150 Raptor are. I will point out the max payload is 2,300 pounds in the Cybertruck, and the max payload in the Raptor is 1,400 pounds. The max tow of the Raptor is 8,700 pounds, and the max tow of the Cyber Beast is 11,000 pounds. But pretty much every other spec is better for the Cybertruck than for the Raptor, besides the length. The length is longer for the Raptor at 232.6 inches and the Cybertruck at 223.7 inches, but I think that's probably the least notable spec that anyone cares about. Tesla's car insurance unit must face a prospective class action claiming it overcharged drivers for their premiums by basing them on false crash warnings instead of actual driving behavior, a California judge has ruled. Now, this could be a problem if it does spread into a larger class action, so we'll definitely want to be watching this. But for right now, it does not seem like this is moving the needle for Tesla stock. Switzerland reported 792 Tesla sales and 3.6% market share for November. 54% were the Model Y, 36% were the Model 3. Model 3 sales are up 4,700% from last month, and year to date, this is 88% of last year's total. We're up about 6% from the same period last year. Roland Percher also points out that if we can get 92,671 wholesale units in December, Tesla would achieve a new record quarter for Giga Shanghai. Israel reported 750 Tesla sales and 6.1% market share for November. This is the second best November ever, and year to date, this is 41% higher than the same period last year. Romania reported 198 Tesla sales and a 1.8% market share for November, 69% of which are the Model Y, 29% of which are the Model 3. Year to date, this is 210% higher than the same period last year. Turkey reported 900 Tesla sales and 1% market share for November. Year to date, this is the same, 0% change over the period last year. Iceland reported 627 Tesla sales and 37.3% market share for November. Tesla is the best-selling brand. The Model Y is the best-selling car. 95% of deliveries in Iceland this last quarter were Model Ys and 4% were Model 3s. This was the best month ever, up 256% versus last month. And year to date, you are already 238% higher than last year's total delivery number. The Netherlands reported 2,112 Tesla sales and 7.5% market share. Year to date, this is up almost 700% compared to last year's time period. Tesla's chief financial officer on November 29th sold 4,000 Tesla shares for $1 million. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people sell stock. Keep that in mind. Buying a house, they want to buy a car, they get a divorce. There's a lot of reasons why people sell stock, so don't look into this all too much. Tesla's electric cars will be removed from Sixt car rental fleet. This is a European car rental company, and they say that electric cars have higher repair costs compared with combustion vehicles, and they say the automakers' heavy price cuts affect residual values. So basically, every time Tesla cuts prices, if they want to sell the cars that they are using in their rental company, they're going to get less money for them. So the values are just not holding up enough. And this is also hitting the MT Newswire that Tesla has now stated the tax credit will cut down to $3,750 starting on January 1st, 2024. We already know this, and we do know that the current administration is looking at basically curbing the restrictions for this tax credit until the foreseeable future and kind of phasing them in, because if Tesla doesn't qualify for the full credit, nobody's going to. Hedge funds and institutions have placed $513 17 option orders today in Tesla, worth $133.58 million with a positive order value of 63%. Volume on the call side is 55.38%. Volume on the put side is 44.62%. Pretty typical numbers for Tesla. Currently, 3.3% of the float is sold short, and you do have a short position of $21.43 billion. This is still up sharply from $17 billion at the end of November. So short sellers have still taken a beating in recent weeks. 10-year Treasury yields are up almost 7 basis points today to 4.29%. This could explain some of the red that we are seeing in the markets. Also, JP Morgan's top chartist says the S&P 500 to tumble all the way back to 3,500, retesting bear market lows at some point in 2024. But to the contrary, JP Morgan is telling its rich clients the opposite. 5 hours ago, JP Morgan's private bank says equities offer potential for meaningful gains in 2024. Say stress is related to higher interest rates and credit will be manageable and not enough to cause a recession. The Nasdaq today is down about 1.25%, where your Russell 2000 is up almost 1%. We continue to see this great shift of capital in our markets, where capital is coming out of big tech that dominates the index weighting in the S&P and the Nasdaq, making its way into the Russell 2000. You also have money in treasuries and in cash that is making their way into interest rate sensitive companies. That's why I think Tesla is ultimately outperforming today. That's relative compared to the Nasdaq or some of your other big tech names. Tesla's still red today, but it's relatively outperforming. It's doing better than Nvidia, than Apple, than Microsoft. That's good news, especially since we just had the Cybertruck delivery event, and there's some mixed opinions in that regard. If that was truly a negative catalyst, Tesla would be underperforming your other big tech names. That's not happening today. Your most recent AI investor sentiment survey is showing the bulls are in control. 48.8% of investors are bullish. Neutral investors remained about the same at 31.7%, and the amount of bears is down sharply since November 22nd, when the bears stood at 23.6%, now at 19.6%. This is the lowest reading of bearish investors in our markets for a long time. Global inventory numbers for the Tesla lineup show the Model Y is moving downwards again. That's a pretty good sign. Your Model S, X, and Model 3 are continuing to fall as well. And here you can see the Google Trends data for the Model 3, the Model Y, and the Cybertruck. And the Cybertruck is uptrending sharply, up to about 82, although this data is not fully formed. This is going to be a record high amount of search trend interest for the Cybertruck. And you are seeing the Model 3 and the Model Y is also uptrending now as well. Tesla continues to run about 300 different ads globally via Google, and a lot of these ads are now starting to advertise for leasing options. Some of these ads say lease a Model Y from $399 a month, seating for up to 7. Same here, lease a Model Y for $399 a month. Autopilot comes standard, promoting the Model Y's starting price at around $36,490. That is after the $7,500 federal tax credit. Another ad for leasing a Model 3 for $329 a month. So a lot of targeting to leasing, which I find interesting. The percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average continues to move higher today, now at 74.8%. You were at about 77% back in July of this year. So you're getting up to those highest points, and I think that probably goes even higher from here. We do have some important earnings this week for the broader markets, like Dollar General Thursday pre-market and Broadcom Thursday in after hours. C3 AI could be an interesting one for that overall AI trade, but today in after hours, you're going to have GitLab, Joanne, and Culp. Tomorrow morning, Neo and whatever Neo says, whether good or bad, could also have some effect on Tesla, but I'm not expecting anything too outlandish. Tesla stock currently is down about 0.8%, still above that 50-day moving average, which sits at $234.67. Tesla is right at about $237, so comfortably above that, but a pretty decent distance away from its 100-day moving average. That's really where you want to see Tesla break above. That's at about $245 per share. Tom Lee with Fundstrat expects the November jobs report this Friday, November CPI next Tuesday, and the Fed meeting next Wednesday are all going to be three big catalysts for our markets that could send the markets up and down, really trade sideways until after the Fed. And then you could see a FOMO rally in the S&P all the way to about 4,800, which would be an increase of about 5.5%. If that were to happen, in the broader index, I would expect Tesla could rally 10+% in this Santa Claus rally. A 10% rally from here for Tesla stock would put Tesla right at about $261, which is really where I want to see Tesla. If we can get above 260, you're breaking above this longer term downtrending trend line connecting the highs back in 2021 and the rally highs in 2022, and even what you've seen during Q2 earnings of 2023 when Tesla hit about $300. If you break above 260, that opens the door for a much larger move higher. Tesla, if you look at the RSI, is at 52.63, neutral is 50, so you're around neutral. Suggests to me Tesla could move up quite a bit from here before you're really on the overbought side, and fundamentally it makes sense. If markets are expecting 5 or 6 rate cuts in 2024 and no recession, I think Tesla needs to move higher based on that narrative alone. Here you can see Nvidia is down 3.26% today. Apple is down 1.3%. Microsoft is down about 2%. So Tesla is well outperforming, only down about 0.8% today. TLT is down 0.74%, not exactly great. Oil is down 1.34%, that is good news. The dollar is up about 0.5%, that's not great. Gold is down 2.28%, which I see as a positive because why was gold rallying to begin with? Gold is usually a safe haven, a fear-like asset. So this was suggesting something is going wrong under the surface, and today's move downwards is very comforting, in my personal opinion. So that is all of your news and update that you need to know for Tesla stock and the broader markets today. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys made it to the end of this video. If you guys want to come trade with us, come trade some of these earnings, hopefully hit some home runs with us, link down below in the description of this video. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Michael Tyler, and I will see you in the next one.